Hello guys, in this tutorial I will gonna solve paper 2 February-March 2020. Actually this is the first paper after the updated syllabus from Cambridge side, so you will face a new questions according to the new syllabus. Let's start. Question number 1. It's a given 6 numbers. From the list, write down a number that is a multiple of 3. How can I find multiples of 3? To get multiples of 3, multiply 3 by the whole number started from 1. 1 multiplied by 3, 2 multiplied by 3, 3 multiplied by 3, 4 multiplied by 3, 5 multiplied by 3, and so on. So, from the list, which one of these represents a multiple of 3? The answer is 12. Part B. A cube number. A cube number means a number written in this form, n to the power of 3. A number multiplied by itself 3 times. So if we start from 1 to the power of 3, which is 1. 1 times 1 times 1. 2 to the power of 3, which is 2 multiplied by itself 3 times. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, the answer is 8. 3 to the power of 3, 27. 4 to the power of 3, 64, 125, 216. The number which you can find its cubic root to give a whole number. So cubic root of 1, cubic root of 8 is 2, cubic root of 27 is 3. So from the list which is a cube number, the answer is 8. Part C. A prime number. A prime number is a number has only 2 factors. The prime numbers start from 2 because 2 has only 2 factors, the number itself and 1 and 2. 3 is a prime, 1 times 3, only 3. 5, 1 times 5. 7, 1 times 7. 4 is not prime because 4 is 2 times 2 and 1 times 4, so 4 has 3 factors, 1, 2 and 4. Also 6 is not a prime because 6 has 4 factors, 1 times 6 and 2 times 3, so we have 4 factors, 1, 2, 3 and 6. Why 1 is not a prime? Because 1 has only 1 factor, 1, and we said again prime number has only 2 factors, 1 and itself. So from the list which is prime, the answer is 5. Part D. An irrational number. Let's first explain what is rational and what is not rational. The rational number is a number. You can write it as a fraction, a over b, whereas a and b are integers. What else? B is not equal to 0. So, started from the first number, which one represents rational and irrational? The first one, you can write it as a fraction, 3, 5, 6 over 100, whereas 356 integer and 100 also integer. So this number is rational. 5 is 5 over 1. Both are integers, so rational. Square root of 196 is 14. So you can write it as a fraction, whereas 14 and 1 are integers. 8, you can write it 8 over 1, so 8 and 1 are integers, so this number is rational. Now, root 7, you can write it as a fraction, but root 7 is not integer, so this number is irrational, root of 7. In your syllabus, the irrational numbers, I will give you hints about examples like square root for number not a square, like square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 5 are irrational. And the cubic root for number not cube, like cubic root of 2, cubic root of 3, cubic root of 4 are irrational. What else? Any number in terms of pi. Pi over 2, pi plus 3, any number included pi. But as we know, pi is approximately equal. So please don't say pi equal. Pi approximately equal 22 over 7. Pi approximately equal 3.142. 22 over 7 is rational. 3.142 is rational. But if it is written pi, the answer is irrational. Question number 2. The number of people swimming in a pool is recording each day for 12 days. So this means we have 12 numbers here, and asked to complete stem and leaf to organize the data in stem and leaf. So you have to know which first stem and which is leaf. This is according to the key which is given in the question. It's given 1, 3 means 13. This means the 10th digit will be stem and 1st digit will be on the right hand side to represent leaves. Let us start with 24. For me, I prefer to write them again here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will tell you why. The first number is 24, second one is 28, third one 13, 38, 15, 26, 45, 21, 48, 36, 18, 38. You have to rearrange these numbers. 3, 5, 8, it's already arranged. 3, 5, 8. But 4, 8, 6, 1, you have to rearrange ascendingly, start from 1, then 4, 6, then 8. 3, 6, 8, 8. 4, 5, and 8. So arrange. Now it's arranged, and also it's better to keep the spaces are same. Rearrange it as a columns. So it's better to keep evenly spaced. Part B. In part B, find the median number of swimmers. To get the median number, you have to get first its order. How to get the order? To get the order is n divided by 2. We have here 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. If your answer is a whole number, this means you have to get 6 and the next here is 7th, then find their average. If you go up, the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 6 and 8, but the original number is 26 and 28. So 26, 28 divided by 2. 26 plus 28, then divided by 2. The answer is 27. This represents the median. Question number 3. A point A has coordinates 6 and 4, and another point B has coordinates 2 and 7. Write AB vector as a column vector. First, I'd like to represent these 2 points in XY plane. Let's first represent x-axis and y-axis. If you plot the first point, A, 6 and 4, let's say this point here, 6 and 4, this is the point A, and point B is 2 and 7, let's say this point here, 2 and 7, point B. Now the vector AB, its starting point is A and end point is B. So now how to move from A to B? Let us start to move from A to B. From A to B, move horizontally first, go to the left hand side, then go up. How many units moving from A to B? Horizontally, it's 4 units. How? This value at 6 and this point at 2. So from 6 back to 2, it's -4, negative here to the left side. Then from this point 4 and this point is 7. To move up from 4 to 7, it's 3 units. So the answer is -4 and 3. How can I find the vector? It's only one mark. Directly, mentally, you can subtract in your mind that your answer is correct by looking at 7, then 4, then 2, then 6. Or if you apply this formula, AB, a vector, is the position vector of the second point minus the position vector of starting point. So OB here is 2 and 7 minus OA is 6 and 4. So the final answer 2 minus 6 is 4, negative. 7 minus 4 is 3, positive. Same answer. Question number 4. Find the interior angle of a regular polygon with 24 sides. If we have here a regular polygon, let's say this is angle interior and this is the angle exterior. As you know, interior angle plus exterior angle at any vertex is equal to 180 degrees. If I started to get the exterior angle first, exterior angle is 360 divided by n, whereas n represents the number of sides or number of angles. So 360 degrees divided by 24, so the answer is 15. 15 degrees, this is the measure of exterior angle, but he asked to get the interior angle. So the interior angle is equal to 180 minus this answer. 180 minus 15, the answer is 165. So the answer is 165 degrees. You can also find the answer by getting the interior angle directly. How? The interior angle is equal to the sum of all angles, which is n minus 2 times 180, the sum of all interior angle, divided by their number, which is n. n here is 24, so 24 minus 2, all multiplied by 180, so divided the answer by 24, you will get the same answer, 165 degrees. Question number 5, without using a calculator workout, 15 over 28, 15 over 28, division will be multiplied. Then find the reciprocal of 4 over 7, flip numerator and denominator will be 7 over 4. Now, by looking at the numerator and the denominator, 7 and 28, both are multiples of 7. So we can divide it 7 by 7, which is equal to 1. 28 divided by 7, which is equal to 4. Then multiply the numerators together. 15 times 1 is 15. 4 times 4 is 16. But you have to read, you must show all your working and give your answer as a fraction in its simplest form. Our answer now, fraction, 15 over 16, and in its simplest form. Or, again, you can write the first fraction, 15 divided by 28, then multiply, division, multiplication, reciprocal. First steps are same. But the second one, you can directly multiply 15 times 7, which is equal to 105. Then 28 times 4, which is 112. Then simplify, you will get the same answer, 15 over 16. by dividing. How to simplify? By dividing by 7 is equal to 15, and divided by 7, the answer is 16. Question number 6. A table shows the marks scored by 40 students in a test. Mark and frequency. Mark is X, frequency is F. To calculate the mean, you have to find X times F. The mean, if you memorize it, is sum of X times F divided by sum of F. So find product of X times F. Five multiplied by 8, 5 multiplied by 8 plus 6 multiplied by 5 plus 7 multiplied by 11 plus 8 multiplied by 7 plus 9 multiplied by 5 plus 10 multiplied by 4. All divided by sum of F, which is 8 plus 5 plus 11 plus 7 plus 5 plus 4, which is given up is 40. Then simplify your answer. You can find your answer directly by using the calculator, or you can multiply 5 by 8 is 40 plus 30 plus 77 plus 56 plus 45 plus 40, all divided by 40. Then find the value of numerator and value of the denominator. The final answer is 7.2. Question number 7. We have here a right angled triangle where two sides are given. Let's look at part A. The diagram shows a right angled triangle. Calculate the area. To get the area of any triangle, especially if it is right angled triangle, it's a base times height divided by 2, or have base into height. So the answer here is have times 8.5 times 10.8, and find your answer, which is 45.9. You can write your answer here first, 45.9, and write it here. Part B, calculate the perimeter of the triangle. To get the perimeter of any shape, find the sum of all sides. We have here 3 sides, 2 are given, but you can find the third side by apply Pythagoras theorem. 8.5 squared plus 10.8 squared. So you can find it direct. The perimeter is equal to the sum, which is 8.5 plus 10.8 plus apply Pythagoras square root of 8.5 squared plus 10.8 squared. You can write it like this, then find the final answer direct, which is 33.04, or you can write it 3 significant figure and write it answer only 33.0, or you can find this first step first. You can write the equation is 8.5 squared plus 10.8 squared is equal to x squared. Find the length of hypotenuse first, then find their sum all. You will get your answer 33.0. Question number 8. Calculate the value of 2.3 times 10 power of negative 3 plus 6.8 times 10 to the power of negative 4. Give your answer in standard form. It's only 1 mark and it's written calculate, so you can use your calculator and find your answer direct and keep your answer in standard form. You will get your answer is 2.98 times 10 to the power of -3. Question number 9, part A, factorize completely. The first step when you factorize any algebraic expression, you have to look at first the common factor. Which is common factor? Maybe the common factor is a numerical factor, number like 3 and 12. The common factor here is 3 because both divided by 3. And also x is a variable, you can take it outside as a common factor. So the common factor is 3 and x. When you get it outside 3 and x, you have to write the remainder by dividing 3x squared divided by 3x. The answer is x, minus 12xy divided by 3x. The answer is 4y. So the final answer is 3x multiplied by x minus 4y. Part B, expand and simplify. We have an expression out of 2 terms, another expression out of 2 terms. You can multiply each. M times m is m squared, and m times 2 is 2m. -3 times m, -3m. -3 times 2 is -6. And simplify your answer. M squared, 2m minus 3m are like, so you can find only one term, which is -1m. You can keep it -m, or you can say -1m minus 6. So the final answer is m squared minus m minus 6. You can get the last step directly. Yes, I will repeat it again here. If you write m minus 3 multiply by m plus 2, the first term by the first term will be m squared, m times m. Second term, -3 times the second term is -6. The outer, which is m times 2, is 2m, and the inner is -3m. Then write your answer direct, -m. You will get the same answer. Question number 10. Sketch the graph of each function. It's very important to recognize the general graph of each function. In first part A, y equals x minus 3, it's clear this equation of a straight line, which you memorize it, y equals mx plus c, whereas m represents the gradient and c the y-intercept. So to represent the straight line graphically, it's better to start with the y-intercept. The y-intercept given is -3. By looking at the gradient of this line, if you look at the gradient of this line is positive, this means the line move up from left to right. So this line start from -3 and go up. Second part, y is equal to 1 over x. This function is a fractional function and formed from 2 parts. The first part, if y equals 1 over x, we have 2 parts, one in the first quadrant like this and in the third quadrant. But if it is negative, will be in the second and the fourth. How to represent it graphically step by step, even if you don't recognize it? If you substitute x by 1, you will get 1 and 1. This is inversely proportional. When you increase the values of x, the points of y decreased, will be like this. If you decrease the values of x, the values of y increase, and so on in the first part and second part will be same. But if it is -1 over x, exactly will be same by reflecting in y-axis, so will be in the second and in the fourth. This is in case of negative. In part A, I will show you from A to B, it's not a reflection. How to show that it's a reflection or not? If say we have two corresponding points like A1 and E, if we try to draw the perpendicular bisector which represents the line of symmetry or the line of reflection, is it same with all the points or not? If it's the same, will be reflection. Let's start first to join point A and point B. Point A1 with A. This is corresponding. When I say corresponding points, means this point is 90 degrees and also this point is 90 degrees. The sides of the size of this angle is 1, 2, 3, 4 with 2, and also this is 4 and 2. So these 2 points are corresponding. If we try to draw the mirror or the line of reflection, which will be perpendicular bisector between these 2 points, is it a mirror for all the points? It's not. If you try to join between this point and this point C, and its corresponding, there is G. This is line of symmetry. It is perpendicular bisector. No. So this is not reflection. And also this is not translation, because translation, same vector. If you move from point E to point A, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left side, then 2. If you move from this point to this point, it's not same. So this is not translation, not reflection. Now we are thinking for rotation. But is it rotation 180 degrees or rotation 90 degrees? Let's say it's 180 degrees, but will be not. How to show that it's rotation 180 degrees? It's very simple. By start to join each 2 corresponding points. This point and its corresponding, this point and its corresponding, this point and its corresponding, this point and its corresponding. If all intersect at only one point, will be rotation 180 degrees. This is not rotation 180 degrees. So this is rotation 90 degrees. It's very difficult, I know, to identify the center of rotation is 90 degrees, but you can start to guess which point is this point, this point, this point, this point, and use tracing paper to show the center exactly. But how exactly to define this point, how to identify the center of rotation in case if it is 90 degrees, it's also very simple. If you try to draw perpendicular bisector again between 2 corresponding points, this point and this point, and draw the perpendicular bisector by using your compass. This is the perpendicular bisector. If you try it again with another 2 corresponding points, this point and this point, draw the perpendicular bisector between these 2 points. The 2 perpendicular bisectors intersect at the center of rotation 90 degrees. So the center of rotation is 0 and 2. If you try to repeat it again with the 3rd point, is exactly the same. If you join this point with this point and draw the perpendicular bisector, will be exactly same. So from A to B, it's a rotation 90 degrees clockwise, center 0 and 2, and you can check your answer by using tracing paper. This rotation, its center is 0 and 2. The angle of rotation is 90 degrees clockwise. Or you can say 270 anti-clockwise. In part B, which transformation map A to C? It's a reflection, and how to show that this reflection? By joining any 2 corresponding points, this point and its corresponding, by drawing the perpendicular bisector which represents the mirror between these 2 points like this. You can draw the perpendicular bisector between any 2 points by using your compass and ruler. Now if you try to join any 2 corresponding, this point with its corresponding, yes, same mirror, so this is the reflection This is a line of symmetry between these 2 points. Another 2 points, this point with this point, exactly the same, a line of symmetry. And this point with this point, also a line of symmetry. So transformation which map A to C, reflection about the straight line y equals x. This is the straight line y equals x, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. So its equation y is equal to x, or you can say x is equal to y, or you can say y equals minus x. The answer to part B is reflection about the line y is equal to x. In part C, which transformation map A to D? Now it's clear it's enlargement. So where is the center of this enlargement, and what about the scale factor? For the center, just same, you can join 2 corresponding points. The first point with its corresponding, it's the first one. Another 2 points with its corresponding. Another points with corresponding. Now I think it's clear where is the center of this enlargement. It's 4 and 6. So the enlargement, center 4 and 6. What about the scale factor? The scale factor of the length of image over length of object. So it's written A to D. So find the length from D over the length from A. Say if I use this length is 1 and its corresponding is 2. So the scale factor 1 over 2. Again, this side is 2, this side is 4, 2 over 4, and you can simplify, will be 1 over 2. So the final answer for part C, it's enlargement with a scale factor 1 over 2 and center 4 and 6. So the answer of C is enlargement with scale factor half and the center of enlargement is the point 4 and 6. Question number 12. The population of a town decreases exponentially at a rate of 1.7% per year. The population now is 250,000. When we have increasing or decreasing exponentially, remember the compound formula. The compound formula is A is represented, the total is principal 1 minus r% in case of decrease to the power of t, in case of increase will be plus. When we have principal here is 250,000 multiplied by 1 minus r is 1.7%, all to the power of t, which is 5. So this is the total, and simplify to get your answer. By calculating this value is 25000 multiplied by 1 minus 1.7%, all to the power of 5. So the answer is 229460.3215. He asked you to write your answer correctly to the nearest 100. The 100 digit here is 4, so you have to round to the nearest 100, will be 22950.00. No need, so the final answer is 22950. Question number 13, write the recurring decimal 0.26 repeated as a fraction. You must show all your working. By using the calculator, if you write 0.26 repeated many times, then equal, you will get your answer is 4/50. But how to show that? Let's start with writing x, the original one, which is 0.26 repeated. If you multiply this equation by 10, you will get 10x equal, multiply this number by 10, move the point to the right side to be 2.6. If you try to subtract these two equations, 10x minus x is 9x equals, start 2.6 repeated, 0.26. The repetition start, we can remove it here from the 100th digit. So 2.6 minus 0.2 is 2.4. So x is equal 2.4 divided by 9. This answer is not in its simplest form. Dividing, you can multiply numerator and denominator by 10, so it will be 24/90. This answer is not in its simplest form, but in this question you can keep it because it's written here as a fraction only, but I will simplify. Divided by 6 is equal to 4, divided by 6 is equal to 15. Let me start explain it again. If we write here x is equal 0.26 repeated. If I multiply this equation by 10, so 10x is equal 2.6 repeated. If multiply it again by 10, so 100x is equal 26.6 repeated. By subtracting the last two equations, 100x minus 10x is 90x. 26.6 minus 20.6 repeated is 24. So x is equal 24 divided by 90, the same answer which we have before. Question number 14. The box and whisker plot gives information about the height in centimeter of some plants. Box and whisker is formed from mainly 5 values. Let's start to identify the first point, which represents minimum value, and the last one is maximum value. And in between we have 3 values: Q1, which is lower quartile, Q2, which is the median, and Q3, which is the upper quartile. By looking at part A, write down the median. The median is Q2, which is 11.5. Find the range. The range is the maximum value minus the minimum value. The maximum value is 14. Minimum value is 2, so the final answer is 12. Interquartile range. The interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. The upper quartile is 13.5 minus the lower quartile is 5. So the answer is 8.5. Question number 15. A, B, C, and D lie on a circle. PCQ is a tangent to the circle at C. Angle ACQ 64 degrees. Work out the angle ABC. When I ask you to get the angle ABC, let us start first with the angle which is given. Angle ACQ angle ACQ is 64. This angle included between a tangent and segment or chord. The angle between tangent and chord is equal to the angle on the other side. This is called alternate segment. So the measure of angle D is 64. Shape A, B, C, D is a cyclic quad. So each opposite angle, their sum is equal to 180. So B is 180 minus 64, which is equal 116 degrees. So how to show that in your answer? Work out the angle ABC, give a reason for your answer. The answer is 116 because of what? Explain how to get the angle D first. I will write measure of angle D is 64 degrees. So what is the reason? Alternate angle, or you can say alternate segment theorem. What else? Angle D and B. Angle D plus angle B is equal to 180 degrees because of what? Because A, B, C and D is a cyclic quad, or you can complete cyclic quadrilateral. Question 16. Solve linear equation with quadratic equation by substitution method. Solve a symmetric equation you must show or working. If we already have here x is a subject, so you can substitute directly in the second equation by removing x and write it 7 minus 3y all to the power of 2. So if I name this equation number 1, this equation number 2, substitute in from the first equation in the second one. So 7 minus 3y all to the power of 2 minus y squared is equal to 39. We have the quadratic equation. Expand, simplify, write it in a standard form, then use factorization or quadratic formula to get the values of y. Expand 49 minus 42y, first by second by 2, plus 9y squared minus y squared minus 39 is equal to 0. Simplify more. 9y squared minus y squared is 8y squared minus 42y. 49 minus 39 is positive 10 is equal to 0. Still, you can simplify more by dividing both sides by 2. Divided by 2 is 4y squared. Divided by 2 is 21y. Divided by 2 is 5. Then you can use factorization if you can factorize, or you can use quadratic formula to get the values of y. Then find the values of x. You can factorize the quadratic expression y minus 5 and 4y minus 1. If we have two factors, their product is equal to 0. The first factor is equal to 0, or the second factor is equal to 0. From the first factor, y is equal to 5. From the second one, y is equal to 4, or you can write it 0.25. After getting the values of y, you can find the values of x by using the first equation, which is x is equal to 7 minus 3y. So x, the first one, the corresponding to 5, replace 5, 7 minus 3 times 5, so the answer is equal to -8, and use second value, x is equal to 7 minus 3 times 0.25, so the values of x is 6.25. To write the final answer, we have two values of x and their corresponding values of y. If x is equal to -8, so the values of y is 5. If x is equal to 6.25, so the value of y is 0.25. Question number 17. A point A is 3 and 5. Point B is 1 and -7. Find the equation of the line which is perpendicular to A, B, and passing through the point A. If say we have x, y coordinates, the first point A is 3 and 5. Let's say this point is here 3 and 5, point A. Point B is 1 and -7. Point B is 1 and -7. If we join A and B to draw the straight line from A to B, the question asks to find the equation of the line perpendicular to AB but passing through the point A. Let's say this is the line which is perpendicular to AB and passing through A. To get the equation of this line, I need the gradient and the y-intercept. You can find the gradient of AB first. Gradient of AB. To find the gradient of any line by a given point, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The change of y over a change of x. The first point, x and y. Second point, same, x and y. Because this is the first point, so the coordinates will be 1. This is the second point, the coordinates will be 2. So y2 minus y1 is -7 minus 5 divided by 1 minus 3. So the answer is -12 divided by -2. So the gradient of the straight line AB is equal to +6. But he asked to get the equation which is perpendicular to this line. So to get the gradient of the perpendicular line is equal to -1 over m. So will be -1 over 6. So now the equation of the line which is passing through A is y equals mx, which is -1 over 6x plus c. How can I find the y-intercept? I need point lies on the line. We already have a point A on the line which is 3 and 5. Don't try to use point B because B is not lies on the perpendicular line. I replace y and write 5 is equal -1 over 6, substitute x with 3 plus c, and solve your equation to get the value of c. So c is equal half, -half, go to the other side is 5.5, or you can write it as a fraction 11 over 2. So the final answer, y is equal -1 over 6x plus, you can write it as a fraction 11 over 2, or you can keep it 5.5. A car travels at a constant speed. It travels a distance correct it to 1 decimal place. This takes 7 seconds, correct it to the nearest second. Let us start with the given first distance. This distance is not exact, it's rounded, corrected to 1 decimal place. So you can find the upper and lower bound of this value. How? To get the limits. After corrected to its 1 decimal place means 0.1. Divided this value by 2, you will get 0.05. If you subtract 146.2 minus 0.05, you will get 146.15. This is the lower. To get the upper, we add 146.25. This is the limits of the distance, upper and lower. By the same way, it's a given a time. This time is 7 seconds. Correct to the nearest second means correct to the nearest 1 second divided by 2. The answer is 0.5. So the limits of 7 is 6.5. By subtracting 0.5 and add 0.5 is 7.5. This is the time. Speed. To get the speed is equal to distance over time. Speed equal distance over time. But he asked to get the upper bound of the speed. To get the maximum speed, so use distance maximum and use time minimum. So I will use the upper bound of the value of the distance, which is 146.25 divided by the lower bound of the time, which is 6.5. Don't try to round your answer in this question. 146.25 divided by 6.5 in answer is 22.5. 22.5. Question number 19. On the diagram, sketch the graph of y equals cosine x for x greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 360 degrees. Y equals cosine x. It's a function. Like any function, you can sketch the function in the given domain from 0 to 360. You can form a table. This table starts from 0 and end with 360. You can use steps is 90. Let's start to write here 0 and 90, 180, 270, 360. If you try to get cosine 0, you will get it 1. Cosine 90 is 0. Cosine 180 is -1. Cosine 270 again 0. Cosine 360 is 1. Start to plot the points 0, 1, 0, 1, 90, 0, 180, -1, 270, 0, 360 again is 1. So the function of cosine x will be like this. This is part A. Part B, solve the equation 4 cosine x plus 2 is equal to 3. You can solve this equation graphically, but you have to get cosine x subject first. 4 cosine x is equal 3 minus 2. Cosine x, 4 cosine x is equal to 1. So cosine x is equal to 4th. Cosine x is equal to 4th. How to solve this equation graphically? We already have the graph of cosine x. We have two functions here. Y is equal to cosine x and y is equal to fourth. To solve the equation graphically, find the intersection point of cosine x with fourth. Go back to the graph, try to draw the line. This line at fourth, say this value is fourth, draw the line. This line cut the curve at 2 points. This is the first point and this is the second one. To get the first point by using the calculator, cosine x is equal to fourth, shift cosine 1 over 4, the inverse. The answer is 75.5. 75.5. How to get this value? By looking at the curve and symmetry. This is the line of symmetry. By looking at this value, you will get it what? 360 minus your answer at the beginning. So this value is 360 minus 75.5. You will get the final answer. So we have here two solutions. The first one is 75.5, 75.5, and the second one is 284.4 or 5. Question number 20. X squared minus 12x plus a is equal to x plus b all squared. This called identity means left hand side is equal to the right side for all values of x. Let's start first to expand the right hand side. The left hand side, x squared minus 12x plus a is equal to x squared plus 2bx plus b squared. By comparing between the left hand side and the right side, the coefficient of x is minus 12. On the right hand side, the coefficient of x is 2b. By solving this equation, you can find the value of b. b is equal to negative 6. Second part, the constant value without x in the left hand side is a. The constant value on the right side is b squared. The value of b is negative 6, so you can find the value of a is negative 6 all squared. So the answer is 36. He asked to get the value of a, which is 36, and value of b, negative 6. By another way, you can start with the left hand side, x squared minus 12x. I will try to write this expression in completing square form. Plus a is equal to x plus b all squared. If we start with the left hand side, to write it in perfect square or completing square, bracket all to the power of 2, square root of x squared, which is x, write the sign of the middle term, which is negative, divided the coefficient of x by 2 to be 6. This value, write it outside 36, which is x squared. This is the completing square form of x squared minus 12x plus a is equal to x plus b all to the power of 2. Again, by comparing the left hand side and the right side, x minus 6 all squared, like x plus b all squared, we can write here constant to be 0. So by comparing between these two expressions, b is equal to negative 6. minus 6 is equal to x plus b, so b directly is equal to negative 6. The constant is equal to 0, so negative 36 plus a is equal to 0, so a is equal to 36. You will get the same answer. Question number 21, vector xy is equal to 3a plus 2b and vector zy equals 6a plus 4b. Write down two statements about the relationship between the points x, y, and z. Part 1. By looking at the vector xy, if you try to take two outside common factor, zy is equal to outside common factor, the answer is 3a plus 2b. This is the same vector xy. This means vector zy is equal double of xy. This means these two vectors are parallel. But when we have two vectors are parallel, but we have a common point y and y, this means zy double of x, this means x exactly in between y and z, midpoint, as a midpoint. So the question asks about the points x, y, and z. All the points are on the same line. We can write on the same line, or we can say x, y, and z are collinear. Or you can say on the same straight line. What else? It's clear zy is double of xy. The length of zy is double the length of xy. We can say x midpoint of z and y, both accepted. We can say zx is equal to xy. It's also correct.